Hey everyone and welcome to Storytime. My name is Jake and today we are going to be looking at the subreddit r/maliciouscompliance, where people have conformed to the letter but not the spirit of a request. If you're new around here, please do hit subscribe down below so that you never miss out on another video. But for now, let's sit back, relax, and enjoy some malicious compliance. Clients keep saying I'm telling the wrong appointment times, so I'm going to make sure they hear correctly. So I recently started working at a new vet hospital as a receptionist, and every day part of my job is to make appointment reminder calls for the appointments the next day. Occasionally, people will actually pick up, but most of the time I end up having to leave a voicemail. I basically have a transcript memorized because I say it the same way every time. Hi, this is blank from blank. I'm calling you to remind you your pet has an appointment at this time tomorrow. Please don't feed any food before an appointment if you plan to have blood work done. Call us back at this number if you have any questions. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow at the appointment time. When people don't answer the phone, I leave a note, left message on machine, and then my initials. Well, for the past few weeks, people have been missing their appointment times pretty frequently. It's the first week of school here, and people who thought they'd have time don't, and our schedules are changing like crazy with cancellations and calls. But instead of telling the truth or just admitting that they didn't know what time the appointment was and didn't listen to the voicemail, they tell the check-in desk that I must have told them the wrong time. So when I come into work today, I get chewed out. Apparently, a guy who had an appointment at 10:20 showed up at 11:20, telling them that I told him the wrong time. I made a note on the appointment that said I left him a message, which I would only do if I left a message. I know, it's revolutionary thinking here. And he tried to say I spoke to him over the phone and told him a time, which is obviously BS. So, my boss suggests that I state the appointment time twice in the messages, which I pointed out I already do. Then she says, well, maybe you should slow down. Okay, fine. So today when I did my calls, I made sure to record myself on every single call, considering the state I live in is a single party consent, meaning only one person being recorded needs to have consent to record, that person being me. Stating the exact message I typed, and about half speed. But this time, I make sure to state the appointment time twice each time. I had originally set the appointment time. So now, my voicemails are about 2 minutes long instead of the original 30-second message. The few people I've spoken with seemed irritated that they were on the phone for so long, but they know their goddamn appointment time now. Or else they'd better, or I'd be happy to show my boss the recordings the next time someone tries to blame me for giving the wrong appointment time. I can just imagine on the phone going, yes, you have an appointment at 10:20 a.m. and then repeating that like 3 times. Boss refuses to let me work my hours in contract and tells me to leave if I don't like it? Alrighty. I worked for a company priding itself to be the leader in its field in my country, with very famous name, thus why I am vague in which field. How I got the job, I have no idea, but I improved my skills a lot. People at the company took a liking to me, and I now know it wasn't my golden ticket for the future I hoped for. Anyway, when I signed the contract with them as a salaried employee, I was given specific hours in it. Let's say for example 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. No on-call availability, no 24/7, no flexible working time, no overtime without extra pay, nothing outside those hours, which I happily agreed to. I was also notified and forced to read and agree with our internal rules. Rules like, you can come anytime between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. and leave anytime between 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. as long as your hours at the end of the month were what was in the contract. No earlier, no later, no exceptions. No problem. For a couple of years, I worked hours my colleagues and my boss needed without a single complaint outside of my contract. Need me to work 7 AM to 7 PM? Sure. Need to visit a doctor and can't be at work so you need a substitute? I'll help. Sudden surge of work came during my vacation? Okay, I'll come back and reschedule. You get the gist. I always ended up with quite a lot of unpaid overtime hours. I know it was dumb of me, but I didn't complain because I thought when I needed something, they would help me out. After some time traveling to and from work by public transport, I bought a car to be faster in and out. One of the reasons was travel time, which was cut down by 60%. Now, with it came a couple of problems. Parking. If I came late home, I wouldn't be able to park near my home, and personal/family stuff, which required me to be home early and leave home late, which, considering my parking problems, was perfect for me. So I went to my department boss and explained my issues. He acted like he understood and will do something about it. Satisfied, I went back to my work and waited. After a month, nothing changed. So I went again, and he again reassured me. Okay, maybe he was busy, so I'll wait until the next year. The next month was the end of the year, and we were getting bonus checks for great performance and most profitable year since 2008. I look at mine and it said €50. My good friend in the same department, working as long as I was there, by accident revealed she got over $1,000. Obviously, this made me mad, so I went to ask my boss why I only got measly pocket change compared to the others. He said, "Because you are not a team player and are causing time issues for everyone." I was shocked. Not only I'd never seen him so arrogant and condescending, but he said it like I was the problem, because I only asked to consider my needs despite me being there whenever they needed me. Strike number 1. After that, I decided to cut down my overtime. I mean, I don't work for free, and my contract says it would be paid, and it wasn't. After several weeks of me saying, "Sorry, I can't," or "I already worked X hours today," or "I have plans for tonight," my department boss was furious. Luckily, colleagues understood why I did this, and when there were serious issues, I would still help like before. He called me into his office and threatened me with my salary cut in half, more work, and tried to psychologically make me feel insignificant and worthless. Classic case of bossing. Wish I knew that back then. I left pretty angry and wanted to punch someone. Strike number 2. After that, several months went by and I was still fuming. Colleagues were luckily understanding, and they helped me out more often when I needed to leave or arrive later, and we tried to hide it as best we could, so we would all have our boss off our backs. However, more than half of the work we were doing was assigned to me in those months. Department had 10 plus people at the time, with tight schedules, and it showed up on my health. Feeling without energy and stressed out, and every Monday I would actually hate to wake up and go to work, but not in the usual, haha, Monday is terrible way. I visited my GP and got some tests done. Obviously, constant stress made a dent on my health, and they came with less than perfect results. This was strike 3 and out for me. So I went to my boss, and still trusting fool, told him about my health issues, and asked him to reconsider the amount of work he assigns me every day. To this day, I don't understand how I didn't punch him in the face, because his response made my brain stall. "Oh, little baby can't handle the stress? Boo-hoo, if you don't like it, leave. And I'll be talking with the financial department about your salary." I kid you not, I stood there for over a minute, frozen like a statue, with my mouth opened while he snickered at his joke. When my brain rebooted, I said, Okay, and went full malicious compliance on him. I returned 5 minutes later with my resignation letter with 2 months notice. Yeah, law here states minimum 2 months. Slapped it on his desk and told him, "Here is my resignation, and feel free to find another fool," and left his office. After that, I went back to my work feeling a lot better. But this isn't where the story ends. That would be too easy. After a week, the chief financial officer with my boss calls me into the meeting to discuss my salary. They tried to cut it down by a lot, almost down to minimum wage. When I mentioned to the chief financial officer I am in my 2-month period, he asks me when I gave it to my boss. After I told him, he looks at me, down on the paper, at my boss, and to my boss's horror, tears the paper apart. When my boss demands an explanation, I am told a nice gem I didn't know. You are in protection period after the notice, where salary can't change without your consent. And later I found out from my lawyer other parts of the contract too. I was in heaven and my boss was in hell. Strike number 1 for my boss. Later, I had planned my 2 weeks vacation, approved by boss 3 months ago, so he couldn't do anything with it. Suddenly, he wanted me to work from 7 AM to 7 PM the whole week before. I refused, stating my contract had specific hours, which I was abiding by since the whole chief financial officer fiasco. I heard nothing from him about that until I returned back from my vacation. Then, I found a nice email stating, "My new hours are 10:30 AM to 7 PM and 7 AM to 3:30 PM every other day, and failure to follow this will result in a write-up. And internal rules allows me to change your working hours, so suck it." This gem made me sleepless the whole night. I was angry, sad, depressed, and unsure what to do. Luckily, thanks to this insomnia, I had a great epiphany. When the chief financial officer said, "My salary can't change without my consent, does it work for other parts of my contract?" See the foreshadowing. So I went to my family's lawyer. When I told him everything, he said one sentence with every imaginable insult hurled at my boss. Then, he took a look at my contract and grinned like a Grinch. Told me as long as I show up on time and leave on time, he can do nothing to me, and any attempt to change my contract would result in a fine from the Labour Office for breaking the law and a possible lawsuit. And he would have helped me with glee with lawsuit. Strike number 2 for my boss. He also helped me write a nice reply to that great email from department boss, which was sent not only to my boss, but to the chief financial officer, the CEO, and the company lawyer. The reply was ingenious. Not only it said "screw you" in lawyer speech without saying it directly, but it also made suggestions, threats, of a possible lawsuit if things continued like this, without using the word lawsuit or litigation. And a cherry on top, I sent it late in the evening because I knew they would all read it before bedtime. I won't be the only one with sleepless nights. Naturally, I was ecstatic. The very next day in the morning, the CEO called me into his office. Scared like a headless chicken, maybe not that scared but it felt like it, and asked me what that was about. When I explained myself and assured him it's in everyone's best interest to not get lawyers involved, and all I want is calm and peaceful time at work where I'm ending, he agreed and said he'd do everything he can to ensure that. Strike 3 and boss is out. Since that morning, boss was avoiding me like a plague and hasn't said a word to me unless necessary. All my work was moved to the others, and all I had to do was arrive on time. In the last 2 weeks, I was watching videos and browsing Reddit because I literally had nothing to do. Now I'm almost going to miss the work. And some good parts at the end. Number 1, because I was kind of bored at work, I can watch videos and Reddit at home, and to save on gas and time in traffic jams. I asked my boss if I could just have 2 extra weeks vacation, even though I don't have any days left. You know, because I wasn't doing anything, and I don't want to lower the morale of the team with me not doing any work. He gave me papers within an hour, but in true douche boss fashion, his first draft said, I would end the day I signed the deal and receive no more money, and had to go for unemployment. No, no, no. I want to finish the month and get paid for a full month. After some bickering with him in HR, I suddenly got a deal, and now I'm at the start of my other 2-week vacation as of writing this post. Number 2. 2 of my great colleagues, and also most skilled in our department, also couldn't handle him. Various reasons, I'm not going to disclose their motives, and gave notice. So his department is down by 3 people before fall/winter surge of work, and it's really hard to find people now because of low unemployment numbers. Number 3. Because 3 people are leaving, basically at the same time, internal audit is scheduled with the CEO from another country, overseeing it to know what went wrong. Wonder what results will be there, since there were some skeletons in the closet I would rather not reveal here, and surely more than I know of. So now I am here, sitting at home, drinking my iced tea and looking for a new job. But I'll tell you one thing, all those health issues and stress, it's gone, and I haven't felt that good in a long time. Future might be uncertain, but it's definitely better than what I had. I kinda wanted to see a lawsuit go through, but it's probably best that they don't because that'll be a lot of stress. Hey everyone, I hope you all had a really good day and that you enjoyed that video. If you want to check out some other videos, then click on screen right now, or check out the playlist down below. If you enjoyed that video, then please do leave a like, and if you want to submit your own stories, then you can do so by joining the Discord in the top link in the description. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon.